Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to be back. I wasn't with you last Friday. Thanks to Adrian for sharing so wonderfully last Friday morning, but it is really good to be back sharing a devotion with you. And I want to just talk a little bit about what triggers fear. What triggers fear? A lot of years ago, when my sister and I were small children, we used to go and visit my Uncle Dennis and Auntie Anne. They had a farm in Suffolk, and you used to go down a very, very long drive to get to their farmhouse. And we used to go there loads, and we loved it. It brings back a lot of happy memories of their farm in Stonham. And I remember, actually, I do remember this. I would have been about 8 years old. My sister was about 4, and we were visiting my auntie and uncle's farm in Suffolk. And when we got out of the car to go into their farmhouse, their dog, quite a big dog, but a lovely dog, came running out as he normally did. And he jumped up and he put his big paws, both of them, on the shoulders of my sister, and he pulled my sister down to the ground. Now, she didn't get hurt, but it really frightened her. And that small incident triggered real fear in my sister, literally for years to come. Really was. She ended up having a fear of dogs. And so every single time from then on that she would go near a dog, or particularly when we were visiting my auntie and uncle in Stonham, as we were driving down the driveway, she would say this little phrase, and it became a bit of a family joke. In fact, we still use this phrase like 40 plus years on, all right? In fact, 45 years or more on, we still use this phrase, and this was the phrase. So we'd be driving down the driveway towards the farm, and this fear would be triggered in her because she knew that their dog would be there. And she used to say this from the back seat of the car. She used to say, "Daddy, please pick me up and say yes. Daddy, please pick me up and say yes." And what she was wanting to happen was that as soon as we got out of the car, my dad would pick her up and hold her in her arms so that the dog couldn't get her. And every time we would see a dog, she would have this trigger of fear start within her, and she'd say this little phrase, "Daddy, please pick me up and say yes." Fascinating, eh? When I got baptised in 1978 on Saturday, November the 25th, at my baptism, somebody gave me this verse. It was my baptismal verse from the Bible. It's found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10, and it says these words, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And then it goes on to say in verse 13, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you." Do you know, I think that it is absolutely possible for us to have things that trigger fear in us. And you know what? There might be things that trigger fear or anxiety in you that I might think, do you know what? That's ridiculous. Or there might be things that trigger fear or anxiety in me, and you might think of me, "Oh, come on, Graham, get over yourself, don't be so fearful." But we're all made differently. We're all made uniquely. We're all made beautifully in the eyes of God. And we all have little things about our personalities and about our characters that can easily trigger stress, trigger anxiety, trigger fear. And, for my sister, it was just being around dogs. I love dogs, never had a problem with them. And for you, it just might be getting on an aeroplane. For me, it just might be something to do with my health. It just might be being in open spaces or spiders or something crazy like that. But little things like trigger genuine fear in our lives. And sometimes I think, God just wants us to say this little prayer. "Please, Daddy, pick me up and say yes." You know, the New Testament talks about we cry out Abba Father, and it literally is in the Aramaic translation. It means Abba, it means daddy. You know, and it's okay to call out to God and say, please Daddy, pick me up, and say yes. Please Father God, please Father Dad. God, my dad, my heavenly dad, pick me up and say yes. And do you know the good thing is? He does. Because he says there, do not fear, for I will uphold you, I will help you, I will strengthen you. In verse 13, he talks about, I will hold you with my right hand. You know, I have been absolutely blessed. Michelle and I have been absolutely blessed in the last 6 months to have born to our family, to our son and his fiancée, Kate, a lovely little granddaughter. And she lights up our lives every time we see her. She's beautiful. I now understand how grandparents are just bowled over by their grandchildren. I am totally besotted by this beautiful little girl. And I pick her up and I hold her. Now, she's not talking yet, but when I put my finger in her hand, I can feel the grip of her little palm around my finger, and she grips me. Now, that's lovely. And it's almost like I'm there for her. I pick her up in my arms and she's safe. And we are safe in the arms and in the hands of God today. And so, you know, whatever triggers fear in your life, whatever triggers anxiety, let's remember those words. Please, Daddy, pick me up and say yes, because God is there to strengthen us. God is there to help us. He is there to uphold us and hold us by his right hand, his hand. He won't let us go. And whatever you're going through this morning, and all of us are probably going through different situations, why not say to God today, please, Daddy, pick me up and say yes, because he will, because he is our Father God, our Father Dad in heaven. So may God bless you today. And even in the changing of our seasons, you know, the clocks go forward tomorrow night, Saturday night, another area, another season begins. Whatever season you're going through this morning, God will pick you up. He's amazing. Bless you and have a great day. And we'll see you hopefully online on Sunday. Have a great one. Take care.